Welcome to Tables,
Lists,
and Chairs. Last week, we looked at the best WWE World Champions. So this week, naturally, we're looking at the worst WWE World Champions, and we've replaced Denise with Tempest.
negativity.
Woo! That's why we've got him here. If it's your first time watching TLC, then please leave a subscribe, leave a like on the video. Let us know any topics that you want to see us cover. We're going to run down our top 10 lists, our own personal top 10 lists of this category of worst WWE World Champions. That includes WWE, WWF, Universal, World Heavyweight. So like no ECW,
no NXT,
no NXT, stuff like that. No WCW.
I also want to clarify as well to give us a subscribe, because when you say leave us a subscribe, it means like you're actually taking subscribers away.
Leave a subscribe.
Leave your subscribe.
So yes, we're going to be running down our personal top 10 lists of this category, and we're going to compare and judge each other horribly. Let's do number 10.
So bad.
Let's do number 10, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Hey. Oh, hello.
Finn Balor, Stan Stasiak, and Mr. McMahon.
Those are some answers, aren't they?
Right, I mean, I'll go first because I'm going to be real quick.
Yeah.
When we did the best ones, I said, like, I've got to try and keep this as a personal list of my personal preferences, but I also wanted to add in some, like, business ones in there as well. I feel like if you've got a list of worst world champions, Stan Stasiak just has to be on the list because, well, it's Stan Stasiak. Had the belt for a cup of coffee, and no one ever remembers him. It's like a pub quiz answer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have good strong opinions on Stan Stasiak. His son's not very good, but like, yeah, there you go, Stan.
My one's kind of harsh because it's not his fault at all, but like the build to him winning the belt, really good. It was nice and exciting. New fresh guy on Raw, awesome. Beat Roman Reigns to go into the match against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Then the match got hijacked because it was a red belt, and everyone went boo. And then he immediately got injured, and then never was in the world title picture again.
Now, see, mine is harsh on purpose.
Yeah.
Because this was his fault.
Yeah.
He made this decision. And I was going back and forth over, well, do I count the ones that are like a day or a week? And I looked and said, okay, I could say like a Stan Stasiak, I could say like a Finn Balor, but I went with the short reign that I think is the most offensive, and that's the Boss beating Triple H to win the title and then give it up like 4 days later.
As a babyface, no less.
It's
Not even like Vince was a bad guy and he won the belt. And he was like, ha ha ha, pal, I'm the bad guy. The Boss is coming. No, it's like, no, I'm the all-conquering babyface and I'm beating Triple H for the belt. 3, 2, 1. Rey Mysterio, Sid, and Kane. I mean, do you want to go with Sid first?
Is it Sid? Listen, Sid is a bad wrestler.
No.
Is he?
No.
He had the all-time WrestleMania moment where he himself.
Exactly.
Yep. To end his legendary WWF Championship reign. There's nothing to these reigns. It's two short reigns. Neither of them were particularly good. This was the kind of era where the title was getting bounced around before it ended up back on, it was the WrestleMania 13 build where Shawn lost his smile and all the plans went out the window. So who do you go to in your time of need? Well, Sid, of course.
So he can shit himself in the main event of WrestleMania.
I do think both of these are also solid choices.
Yeah, again, not his fault, but after winning the belt, his reign was horrible as World Heavyweight Champ. And as WWE Champ, he won it and then immediately lost it to Cena.
I don't think I have ever been personally attacked by WWE quite like when John Cena, the babyface, was like, yeah, Ray, I'll fight you twice in one night and beat you for the WWE Championship you just won.
Nonsense.
On my best friend's birthday, too.
So I've gone with Kane.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. Obviously, the WWF title run. It's like
a day.
A day.
So it doesn't really count. Cool moment, but
a
day, lose it later. But man, he's like the World Heavyweight Championship role when he was Uncle Fester Kane. He was cutting those asinine promos in the middle of the ring with the spooky music and stuff. Rubbish.
Yeah.
And he just had stinking matches. Absolute cack.
3 straight pay-per-views of beating The Undertaker in awful matches.
Awful.
A no DQ match that was rubbish, a Hell in a Cell match with Paul Bearer shining a flashlight in Undertaker's face, and then the Nexus burying Undertaker alive in an angle that was never followed up on.
Awful.
And that's
business.
before the worst feud of the year with Edge, where Edge kidnaps Paul Bearer and like has to torture him in PG ways of putting pizza on him, hitting him with dodgeballs, but also continuing to torture week to week, which means he had to travel and feed him.
3, 2, 1. Goldberg,
Wow.
Dolph Ziggler, and Vince McMahon.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vinnie Mac has already been on the list.
Yeah.
Just to kind of echo what
Yeah.
Tempo said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vince McMahon won the WWF Championship, everyone.
Yep.
And they have the audacity to be like, well, the reason the WCW failed is that David Arquette and Vince Russo won the world title. I was like, you did it first. Put the belt on Vince.
To this day, the oldest world champion they've ever had.
Yeah. And Goldberg's here.
Yeah, and Goldberg's here. So this obviously does not include WCW. This is WWE, World Heavyweight, and Universal. Universal titles beat Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Hated that when it should have been the Jericho KO feud for the Universal belt. Then he beat The Fiend. Also terrible. Granted, had a very good match with Brock Lesnar. WrestleMania 33. Very cool. And World Heavyweight Champ won it at the wrong time. Triple H just won in the chamber, and then Goldberg won it afterwards. So like, I guess we'll give him this now. And I was like, well, gone off the boil now, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that is
just
fair.
every time he's won it, it's been like,
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Because like it's Groenberg every time that he has won
exactly.
the belt.
Yeah.
It's not like it's it's on WWE.
And I feel like
keep putting the belt on him.
aside from the Lesnar win at Mania 33, like a lot of those reigns kind of led to not much. Like
Yeah.
it got to the end of the reign, it was like, okay, what have you done with it?
Why'd you do that?
Yeah, why'd
Yeah.
you do that then?
What did we accomplish?
Yeah, what did we accomplish here? Not much.
I'll be honest, Goldberg is not on my list, but
Not mine
your
either.
rationale, I would consider it.
Yeah, he should have been
personally.
probably should have been on my list, but he's not.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could convince you because I thought I was going to get roasted for this.
No, it's
all right.
fine. It's good. It's a
Yeah.
good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also a great shout as
Zilf
well.
Dogler, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Ziggles
Good cash
here.
in though.
Yeah, that's
great
the
cash-in
thing.
moment.
His cash-in is fantastic. Arguably the best one. It's not my favorite. I like Seth better, but still, it's one or two. Either way.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault that he got concussed immediately. However, if what we are led to believe is true, they just never really had any idea what to do. They did it because it was the right thing to do for the crowd after WrestleMania. But they were like, well, let's just go back to what we were doing. Put the belt back on Del Rio and then shuffle Dolph Ziggler off to never be a main event guy again. And need I remind you of his first World Heavyweight Championship reign, which lasted about 10 minutes, where he beat no one for it, was awarded the belt, and then immediately lost it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He is the epitome of mid-carder that we put the belt on, but you're not really. You're still, just so you know, you're still a mid-card guy. And once you lose this belt, Kofi Kingston, right back to the mid-card with you.
Yeah.
It's funny how many of those guys, like,
yeah.
there are the folks in my mind where in the mid-2010s, if you don't know who is the Intercontinental Champion or the U.S. Champion, it's one of four guys. 3 of them have that exact same problem. We'll give you the top belt, and then as soon as you've lost it,
Back to the mid-card.
back to the mid-card you go.
I thought you were going to say there's 4 names and 3 of them are Dolph Ziggler. 3, 2, 1. Kane, The Miz, and Diesel.
Oh, we're getting into the dregs of these titles.
This ain't good.
Again, this is a business one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I like Kev.
But Kevin Nash justified on TNA how his massive
know.
ratings.
I was about to bring up. He did bring up on TNA that one time that actually when he was the world champion, business went up, ratings went up. He did way better with this belt than Hogan ever did and when Steve Austin did.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some history books written by the wrong people claim that he was very bad for business. and the business tanked when he was on top.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Quite
this
possible.
this is a business one.
We might see that name come up again. Possibly.
Yeah, that's valid.
Wanna go Kane?
It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane.
We've already spoken about it twice now. I echo what you guys said. Reigns bad. Bad Reigns.
Bad Reigns.
That's all I got to say.
This is Diesel's first time.
Yep.
It's Kane's second time. You've mentioned that Diesel's probably going to appear a second time. I get the feeling your guy might be on this list again at some point.
Might
Yaha.
be. I was surprised, personally, that he arrived so low on my list.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
Yeah, me too. I'll be honest with you,
For a
bud.
very, very long time, Sid held the title of the worst multiple-time WWF champion.
then.
And then The Miz won the title again. And one of his reigns is 8 days long. During the pandemic, nothing to it.
Just because they didn't want Bobby to beat Drew.
Yeah.
Yep, and then he beat him at WrestleMania.
And then he beat him at WrestleMania anyway.
That first reign, though, I was really up for it when it started. Because I was like, I've only seen like 2 people win the title for the first time since I'd started watching wrestling, and it had been like 2.5, almost 3 years at that point. So I was kind of ready for something exciting. And then he won, and I was like, okay, and then the next match, he's gonna win without help. He's just gonna have a solid victory he can do it through underhanded means, surely, but like, you know, make me believe that he's a world champion. And then CM Punk hit a GTS on Randy Orton at the Royal Rumble, and The Miz just covered him and won. And the only clean win he ever had as champion was against Jerry Lawler, whose mom had passed away the week that he wrestled him. And then one of the worst main events in WrestleMania history that we are constantly reminded about over and over again. There are no highlights to this reign. Legitimately, bell to bell, in his time, one of the all-time great pro wrestlers, Jerry Lawler, could not save this reign.
No, it's genuinely terrible.
I also think that feud would have been totally fine for like the IC belt. I think that would have been a really fun intercontinental feud.
Sure.
I don't think it works for the WWE title. Nope, bad.
You had to set up Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the highlight of the reign, setting up
Yeah.
Cole and Lawler.
Yeah, and keep in mind,
Jesus
anything that
Christ.
happens during this period also has to deal with Michael Cole on commentary.
He makes it
Michael
worse.
Cole.
3, 2, 1. Sheamus, JBL, and RVD.
This one pains me.
Yeah, explain
Yeah,
RVD. Let's
I
go
thought
for it.
about putting it.
Yeah.
This one pains me.
Yeah.
When he won the belt, it was awesome, but he loses it real soon after because of, you know,
Weed.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was gonna be the champ, but then he got high.
Yeah, he Afro-manned his world
He did,
his
yeah.
world title run.
Yeah.
And it's the ECW revival was no good.
Mm-hmm.
He felt massively unmotivated despite being the world champion.
Yeah.
I've recently rewatched some of 2006 because the Attitude Era podcast is covering it, and it's no good. And it pains me to have him on this list, but he is one of the worst world champions ever.
That is a shame. JBL.
JBL, man, there are people who I think are nostalgically looking at this through rose-tinted glasses.
Ollie.
Ollie.
Sorry, I'm just put in there. He is not looking at it through rose-tinted glasses because his rose-tinted glass would tell you that this was a bad run. He's actually looking back at it now with hindsight being, no, actually, with hindsight, it's a really good run.
I don't understand personally, because honestly, all the matches are bad. SmackDown in 2004 was the worst wrestling show on television, and who was on top at the time? This guy, yeah, he was able to get heat, but part of that heat was that he sucked.
Yeah.
That he was a bad wrestler.
Yeah.
And you don't put the world title on a bad wrestler for like 9 months. Bad reign.
Bad rain.
Had a couple of bad reigns, old Shamo.
Oh, didn't he just?
I think it was kind of like, on a superficial level, exciting when he won for the first time. You go, oh,
Didn't expect that.
New person. That's a shock. But then after that, like, the World Heavyweight title reign that he had was kind of bad. It kicked the Yes movement off, like, when he won it and all that stuff.
By accident.
By accident.
By being so
That's it.
bad.
Yeah, by being awful, by being the wrong choice. But then, you know, he had, like, the 1-800 fella. That was around that time and stuff. His feud with Del Rio was ass. And then, like, the cash-in against Reigns was just used so Reigns could win it back again. Like, it was... All of his reigns have been really, really bad.
Yeah.
Not a great time for Sheamus, which is a shame because Sheamus, because I like him, but he's not had good world title reigns at all.
No.
3, 2, 1. Jack Swagger! Jack Swagger! Let's go!
God, it stunk, didn't
God,
it?
it's not good, is it?
Oh, it was rubbish.
Jesus.
Jericho lost a shoe for this belt. for this cash in, and it was rubbish.
You know, we were talking earlier about like, well, we're gonna put the belt on you, but you are still a mid-carder.
Oh yeah, Jack Swagger.
This guy.
Jack Swagger's America right there.
Yeah, it was no good.
Yeah,
that
no
was really
good.
bad. They did the moment and then went, That'll do.
That'll do.
Big Daddy Cool Diesel. is a bad reign, this.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
talked about it already, but part of it I don't think is his fault, because you look at him in the Royal Rumble in '94 and he's like the most over guy on the show to that point, because he just comes in and like sets the record for most eliminations, eliminates like 8 guys in 2 minutes. It's amazing. Everybody loves him. And then he's singing like Merry Christmas, you know, and Happy New Year and everything immediately after winning the belt. He's just another goober that they want to make into the happy smiling champion. That's not what people wanted out of Big Daddy Cool.
No. Same thing with Roman.
Yeah.
That's absolutely not Big Daddy cool.
Yeah.
It was not that. It wasn't cool. It
No.
wasn't Big Daddy cool.
That's what we said, Pete.
Yep.
You ruined it.
Yep. Moving on. 3, 2, 1. The Great Khali.
Oh, Swagger!
Yeah.
And Big Show.
You guys jumped the gun.
The Big Show.
Now, if I may wrap up this trio, Jesus Christ. I've done a lot of lists and stuff on Money in the Bank, cash-ins and reigns and stuff like that over the last year or so. This man, I think, won just a single match in 2010 before winning Money in the Bank, and it was his qualifying match.
That's absurd.
And they went from that straight into, yeah, he can be world champion, top of the card. His title defense on pay-per-view is against The Big Show, which was also and then he lost it.
I feel like his world title run was actually shorter than the amount of time it took him to unhook the briefcase.
That is a very good point. When I think of the death of the World Heavyweight Championship, it starts here. Really got him.
We broke Pete.
I just replayed in my mind Swagger fumbling with the case. Oh, what a moment.
Yeah. I'll be brief on Big Show. It's rubbish. Like when he first wins the title because Austin gets hurt, and it's like your one pay-per-view match against the big boss man who was the hardcore champion.
Yeah.
And like if anything, Boss Man made that feud good because he had the poem and he had the funeral thing and stuff. But then Gene's Big Show beats Brock Lesnar for the title for a bit. Yeah. Just anytime he wins the title, it just feels like put on a Big Show for a bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's weird because he's also won the World Heavyweight title like a couple times, but one of them is a minute reign before being cashed in on.
Yeah.
The other one
ruins the Hall of Pain run.
Yeah.
And then immediately gets cashed in on.
Well, yeah. It was because Mark Henry was hurt, which is unfortunate. But
Brian was going to cash in anyway. Just cash in on Henry. Whatever.
The Sheamus feud where Big Show wins the title in a really great match against Sheamus at Hell in a Cell was the only thing that kept him off of my list.
Yeah. I think that the bad outweighs the good.
Yeah.
That's why he's on my list.
I'm putting people on this part of the list that have no good.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
And Khali. Speaking of no good.
Vince knows how to book giants. He just does. Boring.
Were they playing at?
What the were they thinking with Great Khali? Come on, guys.
No
Jesus Christ. I don't have anything else to say.
No.
What the are you thinking? 3, 2, 1. Vince McMahon.
Braun Strowman.
Braun
Strowman.
He was on my long list.
Yeah.
I don't know why I took
such
him
a
off, I'll be
good
honest.
shout.
And Sheamus as well.
Sheamus, again, hurts, bums me out to have Sheamus on this list because I really like Sheamus, but you want to talk about a guy that's had multiple reigns and done nothing with any of them. Like, that's the only reason he's above the Big Show.
Yeah.
Is because at least Big Show had one thing in there. So like, oh, that's quite good. But this is like, you've had this thing multiple times and absolutely none of them are noteworthy.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Oh, boy. Listen, I both take points away and give a little bit of credit to the fact that this was a pandemic run. And it's like, well, there's not really anything you can do about it. But holy shit. I think there's an argument that this is number one in terms of just sheer lack of quality. Yeah. It's the Bray Wyatt feud where they have the swamp fight. He has a pay-per-view title defense against Miz and Morrison that's horrible.
With the rap.
With the rap. He's got a pay-per-view title defense against Bray Wyatt where he's being haunted by just puppets sticking over the guardrails.
I remember that.
And he wins it from Goldberg in a nothing match in the empty WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All time worse.
Yeah.
Good point.
Like I feel some of it's not his fault, but some of it really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's also not very good.
Yeah.
At least at that time, he really wasn't that great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Vinnie Mac,
We've said it.
Yeah.
Bad. I was surprised it was that low on your guys. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah,
All-time
I think
terrible
I want
choice.
to go with like multiple runs.
That's
I
fair.
prioritized long and over short and point.
Yeah, that's valid. 3, 2, 1. The Miz! Yes!
No!
He's gonna have to censor that! How's he gonna censor it, Luke?
Track it.
Effort.
You've done so much added work for Adam Witney. Poor Adam Witney.
I'm not kind to you
But we matched on The Miz.
We did match on the Miz.
Yeah, good.
Honestly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when he won Money in the Bank, I was genuinely like, oh, sweet. What a great person to put that on, because what a heat magnet he is.
Yeah.
Can't wait till he wins the world belt. More fool me, because
Yeah.
he won that belt and he stunk the place to high heaven.
The weird thing is, I was a fan of The Miz, because I was just getting back into wrestling at this time. Like, one of the first big things that I remember from wrestling was obviously the Nexus match. And then I was kind of on and off for a bit until Miz cashed in. And I was like, wow, what a moment. That's awesome. Looking back, though, me, dude. That's bad.
It's so... I mean, at the time, I was like, this is among the worst title reigns I've ever seen. Because it's just bad. And I always remember Brian Alvarez going off on this on Wrestling Observer Radio. I was on the Brian and Vinny show being like, you want your world champion to feel like if I saw you in an alleyway, I'd be really threatened by you. I am not threatened by The Miz. And he had nothing but bad matches, and including in that, one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time that he wins.
I cannot stress enough that The Miz and John Cena wrestled at the Bash in 2009, had one of the worst matches of the year, and they went, that's our WrestleMania main event in a year and a half.
Yeah,
Wild.
But again, a guy that the second you lose that belt, is like back to the mid card with you, because where's he the following WrestleMania? Multi-man match.
Yeah, is he in the Laurinaitis Teddy Long thing?
Yeah, it's just you're a part of a 10-man tag because you're actually a no one.
Yeah. I also hated I think it's the I Quit match that he had with Cena, where I think he loses the belt. Is that the one?
He loses it in the cage, and that's his rematch.
Right. Yeah, the rematch, that's right. And then they had Alex Riley, who was there, who played an audio recording of Cena going, I quit! And it was like, I don't think he'd say that if he was quitting. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's won! It's like, silly.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bollocks, a lot of it.
Pushed above his means for
Absolutely.
that run.
Yeah.
These guys booked Batista versus Kane versus the Great Khali as a world title match on a pay-per-view. They should be in jail.
Yeah.
One of the worst.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely no redeeming factors to this reign. What the were they thinking? God damn it, why did Edge have to get hurt every year?
3, 2, 1. Jinder.
Oh, shit!
Mahal.
I didn't even think of Jinder.
Jinder goddamn Mahal.
I forgot he had the belt.
My God, Luke.
I was just like, as soon as we started this list,
Yeah.
I read that, I was like, oh, Great Khali, that's number one right there.
I
And
did
then-
exactly the same, but with Jinder Mahal.
And then I went through the rest of the world champions and I listened to it and I was like, oh, yeah, definitely filled out my top 10. I was like, yep, there's actually no one else I can really think to put on this list. The second I saw Jinder, I was like, of course, Jinder.
Jinder's number 1, right?
Well, no, the Great Khali's number one on my list.
Jinder's number goddamn 1.
No, I think the Great Khali's worse than Jinder.
What are you talking about?
He's tall. He held the belt upside down. And like said, you know, he had his weird little promos and stuff where he just shouted words. It was hilarious.
This, to me, is the most offensive world title reign they have ever done. Taking a dude, a known jobber, who loses all the time and just went, WWE title though. And everyone was supposed to believe it, and then he wrestled boring matches, and then they had the same match every time, and he kept winning. Not clean with the goddamn Singh brothers every time, and he beat just on his rise when he was going to win the world title. He beat Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam, and everyone went, "What the are you thinking?" Unbelievable. And then he loses, and they go, "Oh yeah, you're a jobber though, aren't you?" Worse than a mid-carder they put the title on, they put it on a jobber. Unbelievable.
I like the Punjabi prison match.
What? What the are you talking about?
The Great Khali was involved. I'm just kidding. It's a bad match.
I mean, he said it.
God damn.
The fact that people will now go, oh, but Jinder Ray was good now, though, wasn't it? Like, it's like, no, shut the up, you're dumb and wrong. Everyone's entitled to your opinions about anything, but not this.
That is a dumb and wrong opinion.
That is just a wrong opinion. It was bad. It was bad throughout. It led to nothing. It didn't do anything positive for the business. They did it just to pop India, and they didn't even sell out their one house show.
Same could be said for the Great Khali, by the way. I genuinely.
He's big though, isn't he?
I genuinely forgot Jinder won the belt.
That I think is the most appalling thing.
I genuinely forgot. That's not even at any point that I think, I should probably put Jinder on this list.
That's your number 0, is Jinder Mahal.
It's not even on a long list I've got. I've written down like
decision.
15 other names that could have been on the list. I never thought to put
Executive decision. That's null and void. It's actually Jinder Mahal.
All right, 1 second.
Jesus Christ.
Well then.
Oh,
1 second. Jinder.
there you go.
Hey, we
We've
all
committed.
matched.
Peer pressure wins again. Also, we didn't shake on that. We matched.
Well
Very
done,
good.
everyone.
LIW for life. That is going to do it for this episode of Tables, Lists, and Chairs. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments. Let us know if there's any picks on this list that we completely missed that you think deserve a place. Let us know if any future topics that you want us to cover as well. We'll be back next week with another episode with us three, where we're going to be going through the best WWE pay-per-views of all time. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for joining me, Luke.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me, Tempest.
Great Khali.
Great Carly.
I forgot Jinder, all right.
We'll see you next week. Jam that jam, everybody. Did you like this episode of TLC and want more? Well, next week's episode is available right now on our Patreon page at patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where me, Luke, and Tempest talk about the best WWE pay-per-views. Here's a clip. I had
Hell in a Cell match. Sorry, I just remembered the Hell in a Cell with Russell Crowe.